and or they don't laugh when I tell them I was pulled off the freeway in Brainerd, Minnesota in 1983 wearing a guitar and a pair of socks. See, you understand. The normal audience, a woman in Iowa at a little theater I played at, she said, "Why'd you do that?" And you know why I did that. And so I'm going to introduce myself in a way that I haven't done in a really long time when I've played music. My name is John. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is 12/12/1983. My home group is Seeking Sanity in Hermitage, Tennessee, 10:30 in the morning. Seeking is the key word, because I don't think there's anybody in my home group that's actually found it. I just got notes from our business meeting, and you can tell. But I'm going to keep it really short, and I'm going to share stories and experiences in my recovery in a way I can't normally do. My buddy Steve has seen me do this a lot, and lots of different environments. But this is the environment where all the music truly came from for me. And I'm going to start with a song, the first song I ever wrote in sobriety. And there's a theme kind of running through all this, and obviously I'm the only one here that really sounds like he's from Wisconsin, because I am, and I'm from Minnesota. But the theme is Notre Dame. You know, my dad went to Notre Dame, and mom to St. Catherine's. And I was raised Catholic. And when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, I was really angry with God. And as long as somebody's already said pissed, I'm going to say that. I was really angry at God, and they told me I had to have a higher power and all that stuff. And I was angry, but you know, when I came to AA, I'm a little different than maybe some of you, but I was so glad to get here because I poisoned myself with alcohol to where I would, drink a bottle of vodka and I couldn't get drunk, and I'm shooting stuff in my veins because I'm a type 1 diabetic with clean needles. And if you go to a biker party with clean needles, you're the most popular guy there. And just, the kind of guy I am, I went to that party, I remember when I was still drinking, and I had the clean needles, and I'd just been out of the hospital in St. Paul with type 1 diabetes. And the doctor said, "How much do you drink?" And I kind of lied. But they can feel that liver sticking out of your belly. And he said, "How much do you drink?" And I lied, and I said, "Well, can I keep drinking?" And he said, "Well, in moderation." And that's a bad word. I said, "What's moderation?" And that guy said, 1.73 ounces per 8, some really weird number that came off a clipboard. And I remember I got sick to my stomach. And Jeff Foxworthy jokes, you're an alcoholic if a guy says that to you and you get sick to your stomach. And they told me I was going to die and my feet were going to get cut off and I'd go blind. The nurses said that. I said, wow, how hopeful. And I left that place and went to a liquor store, and I was 19 years old. And I tried everything I could for 10 years to just end my life. I did everything I could. And when I got to AA in St. Paul, I was so ready. And I stood up at the treatment center there at St. John's Hospital in St. Paul, and we were in there. I was just excited to be there. And we said some prayer, and I held somebody's hand, and the woman standing next to me goes, "What stinks?" And I kind of looked down, and I realized that a couple nights before, when I was blacked out on the highway in Brainerd, I'd put a hot dog in my wallet. And it had been there just 2 or 3 days, but just enough. And so she goes, "What stinks?" And I think it's hilarious. And I pulled my wallet out, and that juice is sticking down there. And I go, "Oh, I put a hot dog in my wallet because I needed to have some food on me. I'm diabetic." And she let go of my hand. And she moved over, and it's the last time that ever happened. But I just said, "I'm home," because I was suicidal. I hadn't had a solid bowel movement in 5 years. That's a silly thing. But the little things that came to me in sobriety were such a big deal. So here's the first song. It's called "Give Me New Eyes." And I wrote it and got it recorded. And Minneapolis is some of the world's greatest musicians. So some of them played on this, and it sounded nice, and it got on the radio. And then it got into a couple of movies. But I'm driving my $100 car down Grand Avenue, and it came on the radio. And it's me. I'm going, wow. And when the third verse came, I do not remember writing the third verse because I'm pissed. I'm not going to say much about it. Alcoholic family, very violent dad. And God for me was like going to the A&W drive-in and you fill out an order. Please have my dad stop beating mom. Please have this, please have, and none of that ever happened, so I didn't believe in God anymore, and I was so angry. And then you guys all taught me that God works through me. So this is Give Me New Eyes, and I'm going to have you clap along with me on 2 and 4. And some of you will kind of get this, and I'm going to move over here. Is this on? Here we go. So I want you to kind of do this with me. And you get your chance. That's pretty good. Just don't stop. That's the tough part. Pretty good. Attaboy, Tommy. Trying to understand all the suffering, misery that man goes through. Where were you when I needed you? And how come I didn't get what I needed? How could you let them treat me that way? Where were you when I needed you? Clouds come over, they darken my skies. If it's how I look at things, give me new eyes. People are killing, they do anything. Fill up their bodies with poison things to feel good, just to feel good. And why must everything I learn be so hard? Can't you see I'm giving up? I don't know where you are. Ooh, where are you? Oh, when black clouds come over, they darken my skies. If it's how I look at things, give me new eyes. If it's you we need you now. If it's through each other we will see you, let us see you now. Please forgive me for feeling this way. Please forgive me for blaming you the way I do. That's where I changed my mind. You see, I need you. Oh, when black clouds come over, they darken my skies. If it's how I look at things, give me new eyes. Oh, if it's how I look at things, when black clouds come over me, yeah, please give me new eyes. Oh, Ralph, give me new eyes. Thank you. So, a lot of us have heard Sandy B, and I heard it yesterday and today and all the talks. It's just about me seeing things different. And I got to slow down, and when I see things differently, they're different, And this next story and song is completely true. And I almost got a cut with a really big country artist with this song, but they thought the country people might think it's about two gay men. And it's actually about two old drunks who had families, Jimmy and Isaac. And so I'll try to be quick, but I got my first record deal in Muscle Shoals Studios in Alabama, and I met my wife down there, Nancy, and she talks like Gomer Pyle, and I talk like Garrison Keillor, and we still don't understand each other very well. But one weekend I came home from a concert, and I told you I'm type 1 diabetic, so sugar-free ice cream in the microwave, just enough to get a little soft and slurpy. I'm dreaming about that on the airplane big time. And I came from the airport, I came home, came into the house, and then inside the garage, my wife's on the phone, and Nancy talks really southern accent. She goes, "Hold on, I'll ask him." And she says, "This is my friend, and he has a really good friend who's a terrible alcoholic, and he's been in treatment 24 times in 11 mental institutions, and he's had 7 DUIs. And they think he's drinking again, and they think he's in a hotel in Nashville called the Drake Motel, and they think he's dead. Would you go get him?" And the first thought, no. I got ice cream on my mind, and I really thought that was what I needed to do, was to have that ice cream. And of course I said, no, I got to do it. And I go, well, it's dangerous. So I call a friend of mine. I asked him if he had a gun, and he goes, yeah. I said, you have a license? He said, yeah. I said, you know how to shoot it? He said, I think so. And Barney and Andy head off to the Drake Motel to get this guy out of there. And when we got there, he was almost dead. And we got him to Cumberland Heights, and they detoxed him and saved his life, and then his spiritual journey began. And I'll fast forward 2 years. Now, most of the time I tell people I was a consultant to this man, but I can tell you I was his sponsor. His name is Isaac, and he's, from Alabama, and he calls me up and says, I'm going to go to Knoxville with my new friend Jimmy. And Jimmy's from a mafia family in Youngstown, Ohio. And these two guys meet in Nashville at a sober house with 6 guys live there. And they become buddies. Isaac will never drive, Jimmy can drive, and strangely enough, Jimmy couldn't read very well. Now that's the power of the mafia for sure, because he ran a prison in northern Michigan and got in trouble with the feds. And these 2 sober guys end up there, and Jimmy asked Isaac to fill out some papers for him one day. And Isaac said, I will if you give me a ride, So Isaac calls me and says, I'm going to Knoxville with my new friend Jimmy, and we're going to go get Jimmy's old car. And he said, can I go? And I said, sure, call me, get to a meeting. And they're acting like they're going to Paris or something. These guys have been locked up and in rehab, and they're going to Knoxville. I said, good luck, 3 days later, we're coming out of a meeting in Hermitage, and it's a beautiful June summer day. In the parking lot flies a Mercedes-Benz convertible with Jimmy and Isaac, and Jimmy's driving. They've got sunglasses on. It's gold-plated hubcaps on this Mercedes, and it's all engraved. It's worth like $200,000. It's his mom's old car, I'm sure. And they go to the end of the parking lot, and they do a 180, and smoke comes off the tire, and now they're heading straight for me. And I thought, I'm not a very good consultant or sponsor. And they hit the brakes. And I remember seeing Isaac, his hands up in the air, and Jimmy. And Isaac went, we drove 95 miles an hour the whole way back. And the backstory is that when Isaac was 14 years old, he and his father went to get milk in Demopolis, Alabama, true story, and they got hit full speed by a train. Isaac's father disappeared. Isaac lived through that, and his wife told me that Isaac had not smiled since he was 14 years old. That day he was 64 years old, in his glory. And just like Carl Jung and Dr. Silkworth and all those guys couldn't figure us alcoholics out, what do we do with these people? These two guys figured it out. Because everything Jimmy said to Isaac, Isaac went, me too. And these two guys loved each other. And it's just magnificent, that story. So this is a song called God Works That Way. And Steve talked about it. So did you. Everybody has, Bob. It's called God Works That Way. By the way, this big country star and his wife, that narrows it down a little bit, said if you could change the words to this song, we'll record it. I'm thinking, woo. I didn't know what color Mercedes I wanted. I was thinking about, and the money. And I said, I can't change the words. I've been singing this for 10 years and telling the story. It's about two alcoholics going, me too. It's called God Works That Way. There's a little something wrong with the piano, and generally I wouldn't be bothered, but that pedal's not working. But you don't know that. Well, Jimmy got his old car back, a Mercedes-Benz, riding with the top down and his brand new friend. His name is Isaac, he's a good old Alabama boy. He's been fighting the old devil who just loves to take his joy. And now they fly through the Tennessee hills, waving their arms in the air. Jimmy was born in Youngstown, where you had to be bad. Isaac in Demopolis in the backseat of a cab. Jimmy says, I always wanted a friend and a car to call my own. Now the oddest couple in the whole damn world, they're flying down the road. And they fly through the Tennessee hills, waving their arms in the air. 'Cause God works in mysterious ways, sometimes putting us in just the right place. Who you're with, it's never a mistake. Oh, if you believe that God works that way. You see, they just got back from war with a bottle and a pill. No, they're not weak men, it's no matter of will. While crawling back from emptiness, there came a light and a spark when the angels made them angels to keep each other from the dark. And now they fly through the Tennessee hills, waving their arms in the air. 'Cause God works in mysterious ways, sometimes putting us in just the right place. Who you're with, oh, it's never a mistake. Oh, if you believe God works that way. Well, I believe, yes I do, that God works that way. Thank you. All right. I'm going to get right to this. I drive these guys crazy moving around. We're going to put together the Jersey Shore Men and Women's Choir. And I do this a lot. And this is a song called Like a Child, and I kind of wrote it a long, long time ago, and I used to go work in prisons with a guy named Ernie Larson all around the country. And I wrote it as sort of like a Bob Dylan folky kind of song, but we got to prisons, and you know, they like to do something when we get there, and they all got up and started singing on it, and then they got a little wild, and the guards had to come in, and I felt like Johnny Cash, you know. But the thought, you know, the only way I learn stuff is by making a mistake, you know. And Bob, you shared that, you know, 55 years, and I don't get this thing. And I know that God's grace is not just those beautiful moments that, God's grace is everything. The tough stuff, you know, that I have to push through. And that just gives me some comfort. And so this is called Like a Child, I'm always learning. And I need, you know, the crowd's thinning out pretty good, but these ladies over here you look pretty wild to me. And so like if 3 or 4 of you would come up here on stage. Yeah, I do want you up there. I demand it. And then you come up. Do you think you can get Ralph to come with you? No. Hey, Ralph. Ralph, would you play this? So this is pretty cheap show business, but I tell you what, it never fails to produce a lot of dopamine in any human being, especially those in treatment. Oh, that's good. And a couple of you get up here with me as I'm lonesome. Yeah, heck, all of you get up here and we can take a picture. So the chorus goes like this. We're a little light on the... Hey, Luke. Come on, bud. You said you're going to get up here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. Just imagine you're singing with Rod Stewart. You know, do a little... Oh, we got the ringers. All right, Like a Child. We're always learning. Jimmy's got a bag over his head, so he says, I'm not coming up here, but Jimmy did do this at the Usual Suspects, and he brought that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Jersey Shore singers, give them a nice hand, and we're going to tour all the Walmart parking lots, and do you have those out here? Here we go. You can bring it down in the monitor a little bit. That's good. Bring it up a little bit. Ralph, you got it. You know, I'm not surprised. All right. There is no road for us to follow, and there is no right or wrong way to go, and each one of us has our own tomorrow. We get lost to find our way home like a child. Sing it out. Like a child, your name tag, all right. Chorus 3, like a child. Like a child. I'm always learning. Like a little bitty baby. Like a child. Like a child. I'm always learning. That's the way we got it. Maybe bad things are really blessings. Maybe sad things grow up to be joy. Maybe hurting teaches me to be more loving. Maybe lessons are on the way. I know, like a child, like a child, I'm always learning. Like a child, like a child, I'm always learning. You know he walked with the fools and the beggar. You know he walked with the poor and the lame. Then he walked away from the rich and the self-righteous. In his humbleness, I can hear him say, like a child, sing, like a child, I'm always learning. Like a child, like a child, I'm always learning. Here's a big verse now. Just when I think I know all the answers. Just when I think I know for sure. Just when I think you can't teach me nothing no more. It's time to teach me a little bit more. Like a child, like a child, I'm always learning. Hold on. Like a little bitty baby. That's another part. Like a child, like a child, I'm always learning. Big one coming up. Come on up here, go get on the way. Like a child, like a child, I'm always learning. Baby.
Hey, like a child. I did that. Hey, like a child. I'm always learning. Oh, like a child. Like a child. I'm always learning. I'm always learning.
When you like a
Keep on
little
there.
bitty baby, just look at Ralph over there.
Yeah, get it, get it.
1, 2, 3.
Like a child. I'm always learning. Like a child. Like a child. We're always learning. Little bitty baby.
Thank you, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, you forgot where you were.
Hey, Ralph. Come back here. Come on. The Jersey Shore Singers. So, can I pull this? Watch me. It'll be a little loud. Can you like 2 more? Because it's been really a long day. And can you like 2 more? Because it's been really a long day. And so 2 more, I promise. And I'm not going to get into any steps. I'm going to leave that. Because Sheldon talked about his dad, and there's so many. This is a song which is my spiritual awakening in AA. This song, 17 years sober. They had an event in Minneapolis in the year 2000 called the International, and I was going to do something for that. And as soon as I found out, I was nervous as a cat for 9 months, and I couldn't tell anybody. And in the meantime, I'm starting to tour a little bit, so I play a theater, and you feel like a big shot. And then I'm playing a little club, where you're supposed to be a country rock band, you play 2 country songs, and then everybody's drunk, and you play old-time rock and roll for the rest of the night. And I'm kind of had it with doing that, and I'm sober, and I'm drinking 30 cups of coffee a day. And there were these 2 fake bikers that used to follow us, and I knew they were fake because they had pencil clip holders from the insurance company inside and their jackets were all shiny, and they'd curl their hair, and they'd smoked a cigarette, and they tried to scare everybody, and they made fun of our lead singer, and nobody stuck up for her. It pissed me off. Talk about resentments. It got worse and worse, and then one night, I just had it. I was on my 10th cup of coffee, and I'd had it with these guys. And I went to the bathroom it was for a break, and I said, I'll forget about it. And I opened the door, and pot smoke came out the top of that door. So I bent down. I don't want that. I don't want to breathe that. And there was one of those guys bent down on the other side of the door, holding it, looking at me. He said, after you, Four Eyes. And when I was 4 years old, our family moved every 5 years. For some reason, I got a crossed eye, so I had a patch. And even my mom made fun of me. Called me Google Eyes, But that dude called me Four Eyes, and that was it. So I'm 17 years sober, and I'm supposed to pray to God. And I did. I said, God, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to break his head open with a microphone stand. And that still small voice said, take your glasses off first. And so I did. And I grabbed that guy, and I turned right into my old man. And my dad was violent, and both of them came outside with me. And it was over really fast because I'm crazy. And I'm huffing, and they're laying down there, and the bouncer came up and said, oh, my God, John Denver goes wild. He said, I said, it's alcoholic behavior. And he said, you're the dude that doesn't drink. And then I just said, end of conversation, it's over. And I had to go to my therapist for anger management. That's Minnesota. And I did, and I've had the same therapist for 39 years. What a beautiful blessing, I just thought of that. But I went to him, and he took me back to who's driving my bus, that little boy, what's going on. And I had this amazing spiritual experience after we did this event at the International. I was walking off stage. It was the biggest day of my life musically. Couldn't tell anybody who I was. And I would have given anything for my father to see me. And he's never seen me play. He died from alcoholism. I got a picture of me on the end of the stage there with the drummer holding me, and I got tears. And he said, oh, your dad sees you in heaven. And I wasn't having any of it, And the following week, I had a dream. And in my dream, I'm playing one of those little theaters, with the thick curtains, and I'm getting ready to go out on stage. And I remember pulling that thing, and this hand grabbed my shoulder, and it was my dad's hand with that big Notre Dame ring on it. And I turned back, and there was my sober dad, and he said, you're really good. And he patted me on the buttocks. It's Forrest Gump for ass, But I tell you what, for a World War II veteran, that's really a lot of show of affection. I could not believe it. To this day, I believe it really happened, because I hadn't been able to see my father's face for over 20 years. And there was my sober dad, great guy. So I turn around, and I open the curtains, and it's big, bright lights, and I think I'm going out on stage. In that moment, I forgave my dad. He's an alcoholic. I should have known that that's what happens. It prevents us from loving. Period. I should have known that. And then I forgave myself right after that. So when I read anything about St. Francis and the 11th step and the essence of seek to love, comfort, and understand, that's what it all means to me. So this song is about forgiveness, and it's called If You Can't Forgive. And my dad's nickname was Wild Bill. And, because we had to move I kind of am bad with that. My wife says, geez, take care of your clothes. Every 5 years, he'd punch a priest that would ask him for more money. And he'd hold him up against the wall, and I'd hear about it, and we'd move, you know. And I dedicate this song to Wild Bill every time I play it, and I see him there somewhere. This is called If You Can't Forgive. Well, old man sitting by the sea, tears rolling down his wind-worn cheeks. I hold my hand out and I ask him, can I help? He says, help me by listening to the story I tell. He said, my heart is full of anger, bitterness and fear. That's why I'm an old man full of all these tears. And he said, empty your heart of all its bitterness. If you're angry at anyone, man, it's time you forgive. And fill it up with love and a little gentleness. 'Cause you can't go on living if you can't forgive. He said, I know you've been hurt, son, and your hurt runs deep. But you don't have to end up an old man like me. He says, I sat here full of rage for all these years, 'cause nobody ever told me what I'm telling you right here. He said, empty your heart of all its bitterness. If you're angry at anything, son, it's time you forgive. Fill it up with love and a little gentleness. Oh, 'cause you can't go on living. You don't go on living. He says it just isn't living if you can't forgive. Then he stood up, he put his arm right on me. He said, promise me one thing before you leave, that you'll empty that heart of all its bitterness. If you're angry, or with anything, man, it's time you forgive. Fill it up with love and a little gentleness. 'Cause you can't go on living. You don't go on living. It just isn't living if you can't forgive. Thank you. Last one. This will put you to sleep. I kind of want to go into some boogie woogie just to see Ralph dance again. But we're recording this in L.A. right now, and it's sounding really nice. And so I got a little tiny chance to get into a film. And the way that works in the music business is they put in Taylor Swift songs, and then Elton John songs, then Billy Bob Thornton. It goes down the ladder quite a ways. And when they run out of money and the budget to put the music in the movie, they come up with guys like me. And this one's got a really good chance. And this just encapsulates the whole day for me. Everybody I heard talk. I'm 69, and I got a grandson after becoming a stepdad, and we've raised those grandkids. And I've complained. They live in Birmingham, and I've whined about it every time. Nancy says, we're driving to Birmingham, we're going to meet the kids half, and I'm just grunting, and oh, what a pain having to go back and forth and back and forth. And 15 years later, that little William, the youngest one, who now plays every one of my songs on piano, wins all these contests. He goes on tour with me. So we played in Fergus Falls a couple years ago, and I take him out on stage with me, and I'm his stepdad, and we joke about this thing that I'm his almost grandfather, and that's a joke. So the first night we did the concert, he said, how about a nice hand for my almost grandfather? And they all laugh, and William's really cute, and he does Maple Leaf Rag and steals the show. And then the third show we did, he came out and says, I want to introduce you to my grandfather, because he's my real granddad. And that's all the sappy stuff we hear when we share this stuff. I don't want to waste another day, obviously, because it's 11 o'clock and I'm in New Jersey somewhere, and we're sitting in here and we're doing this, because I don't want to waste any more time. Every hour is precious. And this is called Before They All Slip Away. This is like one of those you light your lighters up. Wave it back and forth. And Jimmy, thank you, all of you, there you go. I don't want to leave this earth knowing I didn't try. I don't want to go, no I don't, baby, with my hopes and dreams far behind. And any chance I let slip through these hands, let me try again. And I want to love you, yes I do, the best I can. And I want to show you, 'cause that's what matters, every chance that I have. And any chance that slips into these hands, let me try again. 'Cause every day is a precious gift. Only once will they ever come my way. So I'm hanging on tight as I can before they all slip away. Before they all slip away. Ooh, yeah. I don't want to waste another day without mending our hearts just a little bit. And I don't want to waste one more breath with our souls torn all apart. And any chance that slips into these hands, I'll try my best. 'Cause every day is a precious gift. Only once will they ever come my way. So I'm hanging on tight as I can before they all slip away. Before they all slip away. And I want to love you with all my heart before they all slip away. Thank you. Let's go to sleep. Can we do the Our Father? Thank you very much. A beautiful long day. Want to circle up?